just put all of your thoughts onto the page, everything you love about what you do, everything that attracted you to it in the first place, you'll kind of get an idea of what your customers are going to be looking for.
You're listening to Thrive by Design, business, marketing, and lifestyle strategies for your jewelry brand to flourish and thrive. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Thrive by Design podcast, episode number 103. And today you are in for a very special treat because we're going to talk all things copy today. I have a very special guest named Darian Chavez on the show today, and she focuses on copywriting for handmade physical products. How exciting is that? So she is going to share with us some really great strategies for writing product descriptions, for blog content, for writing automated email sequences for when people opt into your website. Totally different strategies than I even teach. So I was really into this episode today, and I know you're going to love it. So make sure that you grab a pen and paper, that you take some notes because you are in for a treat. So this episode is clearly and especially designed for those of you who don't like writing or want to get better at writing for your brand, because in the beginning, it's always best coming from you. Maybe it's also that you don't have a budget to necessarily hire a writer yet. I know that over time in business, it's always great when content comes specifically from you so that you can connect with your dream clients on a deeper level and you kind of understand what's motivating them to buy, and your copy can connect with that. So today we're going to talk about how to become a better copywriter for your jewelry business. And I have on Darian Chavez on the show. Here's a little bit about Darian. She's a copywriter hell-bent on teaching others how to write words oozing with personality and purpose. Darian lives life one Pina Colada at a time, snorts with each laugh, and loves cliff diving into crystal clear tropical waves. Hit her up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, but be warned, she's a talker. So we're going to have links to where you can connect with her in the show notes, so you can grab those later. And she's also going to tell you as the episode goes forward. So this episode's awesome. I'm going to dive right in just a moment, but before I do, I want to take a word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor for the episode is halsteadbead.com. I love Halstead. You've been hearing me talk about them for several weeks now, and they've been a partner with Flourish and Thrive for a very long time. And one of the things that I love about Halstead is they're really committed to supporting small jewelry brands, really the niche indie jewelry brands who are trying to get their businesses off the ground. And they every year host a grant for jewelry designers who have been in business for 3 years or less. And this is a great opportunity for you to get money to invest and grow your business. So the grant is $7,500, guys. It's a ton of money. So I would love to encourage you to apply for this grant. You can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/Halstead grant. That's flourishthriveacademy.com/Halstead grant. And once you go over there, you'll have an opportunity to grab the application. You're going to be asked to answer some questions. Leave yourself some time for this because you're going to need some time to really think through. It's sort of like a mini business plan. It gets you really thinking about the next steps in your business and how you can really grow it. And it's really awesome resource for you. Last year, we had several runners up from Flourish and Thrive who nearly won it. And so this year, I really want a Flourish and Thrive Academy member to win the grant. It would be so exciting for me. So head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/Halstead grant, fill out the application, and enter to win $7,500 to invest in your business and grow your brand. And for those of you who've either been in business for longer than 3 years or who have been trying to find some really new, amazing suppliers, I'd encourage you to check out Halstead's selection of wholesale jewelry supplies and findings. Head on over to halsteadbead.com. If you spend $100, you can save $10 by entering the code FTA 2017. That's FTA 2017. All caps on the FTA, guys. All right, now let's dive into this episode with Darian Chavez. So today I have a very special guest on the show today. I know a lot of you have asked a lot about copywriting. So I have a copywriter on the show named Darian Chavez, and I'm excited to have Darien because she was referred to us over at Thrive by Design and Flourish and Thrive Academy from Elizabeth Dwelly, who's a member of our Diamond Insiders. She's been a longtime Flourish and Thrive member, and she was highly recommending Darien. So said, you have to have her on the podcast. So I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's get her on. And I'm really excited because Darian's going to be doing some special trainings for us in the Diamond Insiders and also be coming in as a guest mentor. So I'm excited to bring Darian on the podcast today to talk a little bit more about copy because she specifically specializes in copy oftentimes for handmade businesses, which is really great. And, it's sometimes hard to find copywriters who focus just on a product-based business. I'm excited to have her here today. Darian, welcome.
Hi, Tracy. It's so good to be here.
It's great to be here. I'm grateful to have you here, which is so fun because you're in the military in addition to being a copywriter. So I know you're on a tight schedule, but I first and foremost want to thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Okay. So I want to dive right in and ask you a little bit more about your journey and how did you get into copywriting, especially since you're in the military anyway. So what's your passion for copy all about?
Well, I grew up loving English class like most copywriters do and words in general. And after joining the military at a very young age, I kind of realized what I wanted to be when I grew up and started taking online classes and things for copywriting and discovered I really loved it. But I didn't really know how to reach out to people and offer my services without any experience. So I kind of gave up on it. And then, after a little while longer, woke up one morning, decided I want to start my own business. And I spent a little bit of time trying to talk my husband into it. And then we opened up a soap business for really no reason whatsoever, other than I just wanted to find something else, and kind of discover myself on the journey.
I love that.
And while in that soap business, I joined a handmakers community online and realized a lot of people were jumping into that community, talking about fear they had around writing for their business and not really knowing what to say or what was appropriate. And so I kind of raised my hand and said, I have some experience with this and I really love to do it. And if you want me to help out, I will. And I was immediately bombarded with requests for help. And so I got a lot of experience from people who knew me just through my soap business and eventually got so busy that I sold the soap business and started doing copy full time. And, word spread and I just kind of ended up specializing in the handmade community.
I love that so much. Okay. So I love that you have a soap business because I didn't know that when we talked about your copywriting stuff in our initial call, which is so cool. And I didn't even know what to say about it because I was just like, oh, that's really awesome that you had a handmade business. And I think that really makes it relatable to help other people who are trying to get their products out into the world. So I just wanted to ask you to, there's so much copy that needs to be written, like, for instance, for a website or for any business, because you're writing emails, you're writing product descriptions, you're writing blog posts, you're writing social media posts, like copy comes in all forms, shapes, and sizes. If you're someone who's already forayed into Facebook ads, you still need copy for that, even if it's 1 or 2 sentences, right? We need copy for everything. So I'm sure I'm missing something here, but if, what are some of the tips that you have for designers who want to become better writers for their brand? I'm curious about that because I know a lot of people kind of want to take it on themselves.
Yeah. And especially starting out, it is really smart to do everything yourself initially so that you know how to do it, so that when you outsource, you know exactly what you're looking for and you can kind of direct your freelancer to what you want. But the first thing that people struggle with when writing for their business is really fear and lack of self-confidence in writing. So what I encourage people to do is to just kind of vomit onto a page all of the thoughts that they have, especially if you have a handmade business and you've been in it for a while, your target market, because more than likely you are your target market. You were drawn to that niche. So if you just put all of your thoughts onto the page, everything you love about what you do, everything that attracted you to it in the first place, you'll kind of get an idea of what your customers are going to be looking for. And when you start to format it, you can actually go and look at your competitors and see the words that they're using and see the formatting that they're using, the strategies that they're using in writing, and see what works, because you don't need to reinvent the wheel with this kind of thing. And then I get a lot of questions. At first, a lot of the jobs I was getting were really just proofreading jobs. And that's not something that you should be having to pay for. So I found the Hemingway app, and I can send you the link to put in the show notes later.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, what you can do is anything that you write, you can plug it into the Hemingway app on the computer, and it will tell you which sentences are passive that you need to change to active. It'll tell you your grammar errors and your punctuation errors, and it'll tell you the reading level that you're at. And rule of thumb with copywriting is to try to keep it at or below an 8th grade reading level, because generally
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what people are most comfortable reading. Not necessarily that they can only understand that level, but it's just very easy to read it at an 8th grade or below level.
You know what's interesting about that is sometimes people go and they use all these huge words. Not that people wouldn't understand it, but it makes it really boring. And I think people when I started learning how to write copy for my businesses, the interesting thing is that I realized that people would come back to me and say, like, you write like you talk. And people want that.
Yes,
they kind of want to get an inside feel for the brand. I don't use likes and ums in my copy, but I say them a lot. But you know what I'm saying. People want to really feel like they know you and they know the brand. And if you can start to learn how to write like you speak, or write like someone that you like speaks, it will really help create a connection with your audience or your dream clients and stuff like that.
Right. And that's what's so great about when you just throw all your ideas down on a piece of paper, you can actually see the words that you're using and your conversational tone will just come out naturally. And then you can take, that piece of paper with all your ideas on and everything you just threw into it, and you can format it and rewrite it a little bit to make more sense and make it copy ready to go on your site. And it's already got the words that you're using. And if you're listening to your customers and you're listening to the words that they use, you can take those and put it in, and they'll email you back saying like, oh, it feels like you just read my mind with the words that you're using.
Oh, so cool. I love it. That's what you want them to do. Like, you just read my mind. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So let's dive into some specifics, because I want to really focus on something like product descriptions. How can we make product descriptions fun and interesting? So I remember when I had to sit down to write a boatload of product descriptions one time, I kept using the word amazing over and over and over again, because I say that word a lot. But I'm like, every single piece of jewelry that I designed, well, it is amazing, but I don't think that's the best way to put it in the product descriptions. So what are some ways that you could make each individual product description sound different without reinventing the wheel or making it super complicated on yourself?
Okay, so this isn't going to be the sexiest answer, but the Thesaurus, is your best friend. Go online and find the Thesaurus, but then also reach out with your vocabulary, with your thoughts, and think, okay, if my jewelry is amazing, what makes it amazing? Is it exclusive? Is it unique in some way? What other adjectives can you use to describe your jewelry? List all those out, and then go to the Thesaurus or thesaurus.com and start searching out all those words, and then branch out and list all the synonyms for them and the antonyms, because you can even say in there, this is not for a specific target market. So, for example, this is not for the shrinking violet or the wallflower. This is for the woman who wants to take center stage, who wants to be seen. And you can arrange your topics that way. What I really like to do is have people tell a story with their product before I write about them, so that I can kind of see the frame of mind they're in and see what their target market is. And then you can take, if you have 10 pieces of jewelry for your collection, you can tell a story with each piece of jewelry. So this specifically is for where they can wear it, how it's supposed to make them feel. And that's how you can differentiate the collection, or even variations on a single piece from one another.
Oh my God, I love that. And you know what I love about this? When you're telling a story, it's almost like you can envision your dream client wearing it, right?
Yes.
And
absolutely.
Tell the story of them or you. A lot of dream clients are modeled off of ourselves, right? Or amped up version of ourselves, right? So tell the story of you, like how you want to feel in it, and then turn it into that being your dream. That's a really great tip. Awesome.
And that would definitely help your client see themselves wearing it. And it's a very old sales saying, once your client sees themselves with the product, they can't see themselves without the product.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, that's a really great concept. Where does that come from? Do you know?
It's very old sales technique. I think it's probably a door-to-door salesman kind of thing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, that's why people walk around with Cutco knives trying to sell them door to door. Because if you can get them to use it, they'll buy it.
That's right.
God, that's amazing. All right, cool. Okay, so let's pivot to another thing that designers struggle with a lot. And I've done a lot of podcasts about this, but I'd love to hear your take on blog posts. What's your approach to blogging for a product-based business like a jewelry brand? So do you have any tips to get the writing juices flowing on things that people can write about? Or
Yeah, sure. Well, the thing that I like to tell people for blog posting is that, again, nothing is unique and new in the world. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Mm-hmm. What you need to do, especially starting out, if this is your first time blogging, is go to your competitor sites and make a list of all of the topics that they write about. And then you can pull ideas and get the juices flowing using those topics. And I like to recommend the skyscraper method, which is if there's a popular topic to talk about or write about in your niche, in your industry, go out and find articles that are like that and do your research and then write an even better article. So if they're talking about, different ways to make a ring using a certain kind of metal or something, you can add images into your post. You can go into more detail into the process. You can tell a story about how that process came to you in your life and your business. Use the skyscraper method to top all of the other articles out there. And then you can get that seen by actually going to aggregate sites or people who have posted guest posts similar to that and tell them, hey, I noticed that you've written or you've posted about this certain topic. I actually wrote about it as well. And I went into more detail. And you can present it to them as something that's of better value, more value to their customer base and drive traffic to your website.
So what would be an example of an aggregate site?
So any kind of guest posting site, or if you can reach out to certain people who will email their list about a wide variety of things for the jewelry niche. Bloggers in general will just take content from many different sites and push it out to their list.
Okay, cool. I love that idea. That's really interesting. I'd never heard that one before, framed in this way for a product-based business. So that's really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a way to get your content seen. And once people on your blog, you can drive them to actually buy your jewelry, which is amazing.
Yeah. It is. And I do recommend that product-based businesses write strategically, because I know it's very difficult to blog every week or, every 2 weeks for a business that you're making everything by hand. You're doing everything yourself. There's just a lack of time there. So what I told them to do is blog strategically and create freebies that you can offer in blogs that maybe you're posting once a month. That blog needs to include a whole bunch of keywords that are going to, that your audience is going to be searching for. And you can find those on places like google.com/trend. And I'll give that link to you to put in the show notes as well.
Okay.
And you can go to the Google keyword search tool as well. And you can pack in those keywords strategically and naturally. You want it to sound natural into that blog post and then offer a freebie to get people on your list. And that would be a strategic blog post as opposed to just throwing out something that you wrote last minute every week just so you can say you did it every week.
That's a really great idea. I'm learning so many things. I'm like, we're going to have lots of things to pack into the show notes, which is awesome. So thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's talk about email marketing, everyone's favorite subject. So you gave us a tip for email list building, which is great. Offer a freebie in the blog post so that they can actually grab something. So if you're talking about maybe a specific process, maybe the freebie can be about the process and you get them on their list and then start emailing them about whatever it is that they downloaded, which is cool. So let's talk about email marketing, because I usually suggest that designers keep the copy and email short and sweet and make it more about the images and the call to action in the email. How do you approach this to keep copy short and sweet, but to the point? I know that when we were talking, you have a little bit of a different philosophy. So I want to hear about this, because the idea eventually is that we're trying to get people to buy, right?
Right. But when you first get people onto your email list, you have them in a prime position. They are super excited and super hot to hear about everything there's to know about your brand and your business and you. So what I like to do is offer the 6 email sales letter strategy. And what it is it's the basic principles of how direct marketing used to work. When they send out letters in the mail, they would use all of these steps. And I like to do this in individual emails to kind of build the brand loyalty and the know, like, and trust factor with your new subscribers. And those emails are the promise, credibility, testimonials, proof, objections, and then the risk-free offer.
Okay, let's go through that again. The promise, credibility.
Yes. Testimonials.
Proof.
Yep, proof. And then objections and concerns. And last, the risk-free offer.
And the risk-free offer.
Mm-hmm.
So can you highlight how this would work for a product-based business?
So for a product-based business, you have a lot to offer in terms of imagery. And after you have put them through the 6 email sequence, it is smart to email them less frequently, because the longer they're on your list, the less often they're going to want to hear from you. They're just going to want the updates. So using those images and keeping it short in your broadcast emails every week is great. To start with, though, when you're building that know, like, and trust factor, you want to go into the details of your brand and what makes you special and what makes you unique and differentiates you from your competitors. And what that can be is simply your story. Is you can tell them your story, how you got into jewelry, what it means to you, and help them identify with you. Because more than likely, your customers that are attracted to you are going to have a similar story or a similar hope, wish, and dream that brought you into the jewelry business.
Okay, awesome. Love that. Okay, cool. And I think this is great. I want to list these things out maybe in the podcast post to talk about the promise, the credibility, testimonials, proof, objections and concerns, and the risk-free offer, because that's a really great formula for an opt-in, and let's say you have some sort of VIP offer for your opt-in, you can weave this sort of offer into, or this sort of email sequence after people opt into your website, which is a really great strategy.
That's right. And especially if you have a premium offer, this is a great way to warm them up to the premium offer.
Warm them up to the premium offer. I like it. All right.
So do you want me to go into detail about them? I can.
Yeah, I would love that. Let's do it.
So the promise is, it's basically what you promise with your brand and what's your product. What do you hope your customers will gain from you and from using this product? And you're addressing their dreams and the things that they want when they wear your jewelry. You want them to feel better. You promise them, more confidence when they wear this, or you promise them that they're going to find their inner beauty when they wear this jewelry. And then the next email can go into credibility. What makes you credible in offering this? And this is a great place to tell your story and help you identify with your customer. You can talk about how you grew up feeling very self-conscious and maybe you didn't want to stand out, but when you started making the jewelry, you realized how the beauty of the jewelry brings out your beauty. You started to feel more confident. You started, things started happening for you in your life, and you can talk about that.
Amazing.
Then the testimonials, you always want to ask for testimonials with every single sale. And once you start to get those in, you can weave those into your emails to help build the trust with new subscribers and show that, yes, what you're making is a great quality. What you're making does do the things that you've promised. Then with the next one with the proof, this is something that might work in different industries. For proof, I usually suggest if you have case studies, if you have research to back your claims, if you have things like that. With jewelry, the proof can be like a social proof. So if you have, like Elizabeth Dwelly has a celebrity in the fitness industry who wears her jewelry publicly, that would be a great thing to use as your proof.
Yeah, you could use any press that you've gotten, just feature press articles or like highlight your top press features, any like celebrities, anything that's kind of getting you exposure in front of more people.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Cool.
Just like that.
Awesome.
Then the objections and concerns, this is where you need to get into your target market's head and figure out what it is, why they would say no. They've come all this way. They've subscribed to your list. Maybe they bought a lower cost product from you. Why would they say no to your premium offer? Why would they say no in general to buying your product? And usually the reason is price. It's too expensive. But when people say it's too expensive or the price is the issue, there's usually a deeper meaning there. So what you need to do is, if you don't know the answers to these questions, you need to reach out to your list or to the people who are in your target market and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask them why they decided not to buy. If maybe you're at a craft fair and they said, oh, no, thank you. Because that can help you address those objections and concerns in this email and answer their concern before they even have a chance to ask it.
That's a great idea.
And then last, the risk-free offer is whatever your premium offer is, or if you gave them a freebie to get them onto your list, you can warm them up to an offer in general by giving them a discount on something. Or if you have a membership for your jewelry or for an expansion of your business, you could offer them a deep discount on that, or just explain it to them a little bit further, what you're offering them, what you can provide them, how this can help.
Great idea. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so the offer, obviously that last email is really about getting them focused on the product.
That's right. Yep.
Love it. But all of these you could weave in. I feel like all of these you could weave in your story. You could feature pictures in the emails and get people onto your site as well, just by like sharing what you're doing. And even have a small offer at the bottom of each email or something. Cool. This is so great. I love your take on this. It's a really great strategy to get people kind of warmed up and excited about this. Because they're when you can get cold leads, this is like and I'm saying cold leads. Cold leads are people who have never bought from you before, who don't know who you are, opted into your list. Like, you want to get them to help them to get to know your brand, so that as you continue with your email marketing strategy and as you sort of get some of this stuff on automation, so that you're not thinking about having to send broadcast emails out all the time, that, they already know who you are, so that when you're sending the broadcast emails, they're like, oh, great. Like, she has a new collection. Now I want to grab a piece from this collection or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, super fun. All right. So this was awesome. And I just want to sort of weave this, because you talked about like an opt-in strategy, but you can also do something similar, a similar type of strategy for like an abandoned cart sequence. Maybe it's just more concise, or other automated sequences for your email list as well.
And that's a great way to show your personality as well. And those short little emails like, hey, you forgot you have something in your cart. Might want to jump over and get it before it's gone,
Yeah. Super duper fun. I love it. All right. So tell us a little bit more about where we can find you, Darian.
Okay. So you can find me on Facebook at dnccopywriting.com at facebook.com/dnccopywriting.
Got it.
My website is dnccopywriting.com. And then you can find me on Instagram where I like to share motivational stuff every day at Darian Chavez Writer.
Amazing. All right, Darien, I'm so excited to have you become a guest in our Diamond Insiders. It's going to be so fun. We're going to talk more about product descriptions and lots of other things. So thanks for being here today on the show. I'm excited to share this episode. It's going to be awesome.
I'm really excited too. And I actually created a freebie for everyone if they're interested in that. And it has everything to do with the product descriptions. I actually created a product description formula, and I threw in a free gift with this freebie if they download it. And it's at dnccopywriting.com/thrive by design. And I'll give you that link for the show notes as well.
Awesome. Thrive by design. Okay, cool. I got it down. We'll put it in the show notes. Go grab that over at dnccopywriting.com/thrive by design. All right, you guys, thanks for being here today. Darian, thanks again. This was awesome.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much for listening to the show today. I've been in this industry for a long time, and I certainly learned a lot of new things about writing copy for my jewelry brand. So I hope you download Darian's free guide. I hope you check out our sponsor, Halstead, and you apply for the grant. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't, especially if you're a newbie and you've been in business for 3 years or less and you're based in the US. Head on over to Halstead and fill out that grant application. And just a reminder, we're going to have all the links of everything that we spoke about today, including our sponsor, over at flourishthriveacademy.com/episode 103. That's flourishthriveacademy.com/episode 103. Thanks for listening today, guys. Looking forward to coming into your ears next week with Thrive by Design. Until next time, take care.